Still, oh, this might be working. Oh, and we are live. Hey, everybody. This is Andrew Benjamin with the We Are Rising podcast. I will be joined shortly by Mike from Ohio. And don't know where our buddy Jay Christian Gary is, but hopefully he'll be returning soon. But we are here to discuss Rizin 41. But first, we're going to just briefly talk about Tenshin's successful boxing debut, which he won earlier today by decision. And as soon as Mike comes on, so I don't sound like a moron just talking to myself, we will discuss this together along with Rizin 41. Tenshin had a successful debut and basically outpointed his opponent. Got one knockdown, which was a shot to the back of the head, but it was inadvertent. And he looked absolutely great. Mike from Ohio.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey there. Sorry, I was like, oh, finally, this is all working. Mike from Ohio, everybody. Say
Hey.
hi.
What's up, everyone?
And Tenshin's boxing debut. What do you think, Mike?
I thought he looked very good for a debut. He didn't fight a scrub. I mean, the guy was 12-4 with 8 knockouts. I thought he showed good movement, a good jab, good combination punching. His hand speed's incredible. Like that was something you could always see when he was a kickboxer. How incredible his hand speed is. And I felt that his footwork needs work. You can see there's still some issues with his defense he used to be really wild with his left hand when he was a kickboxer. He could get away with it because people, the kickboxing being kickboxing, their boxing isn't as advanced as a pure boxer, of course. But that's something you'll have to work on. But for his debut, I thought he looked exceptional.
So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, when does he get a step up in competition? Do you think it's time for that next, based on what he did to his opponents?
I do think so. I think, like I said, the guy was, I believe, in the top, 3 or 4 domestically. So maybe do another contender and then do maybe a Japanese super bantamweight title fight in his 3rd or 4th pro fight. Go from there. Because I do think he wants to win a world title pretty quickly. I don't remember off the top of my head what the record for short or person with the least amount of pro fights to win a world title. It might be Naoya Inoue, Vasily Lomachenko, someone like that. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head. But that is what I think his goal is. We'll see how they match him. But I would think that at some point he'll be here in America since I believe he has a contract with Top Rank.
Oh yes, this was a Top Rank ESPN thing on
Mr. Honda, yeah. But I would think maybe in maybe 2 or 3 fights you put him in with maybe a top 10, top 15 contender in the WBC, WBA rankings. I haven't looked at that list lately, so I'm not 100% sure who's in that range. But I think that would be like step up domestically. And if you think he's ready after that, go for a lower top 10, top 15 contender as a barometer to see where he's at and move him accordingly. And but they have to emphasize his footwork because as I said, the stuff he got away with in kickboxing, he won't be able to do that with a more seasoned, better boxer.
Yep. No, I think you're right. I think, yeah, it's all correct what you said, but this, eventually I think the fight that he either makes or wants to make, or the promoters want to make, all that good stuff, is eventually him versus Inoue.
Which one? I'm joking.
Forget.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, which one? Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah,
because Takuma actually just won the WBA bantamweight title on the undercard today.
Well, I could see him fighting both brothers, because they're both. Yeah. Well, okay. Now we have usually fights at 118 or like 120. right?
Who?
Something like that?
Tension?
Not no,
No,
Nalia.
no,
Yeah.
he was undisputed bantamweight champion. He just moved up to 122. His fight with Stephen Fulton for a unified 120 for the unified 122-pound title got the for one of the for the real 122-pound title got postponed because Fulton got injured. I believe it's in July.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other, for what it's worth, the other person, one of the unified champions, the guy with 2 titles is MJ Akhmadaliev, who fights on DAZN. He's with Eddie Hearn. So I'm just saying, like, there's 4 belts per division in boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got you. Okay. I do think, it's somehow a Naoya Inoue fight can be made with tension. I think that is probably the biggest I'm sorry, I'm about to say boxing match that could be made. I mean, we'll see. Also, we'll see where Takaru goes. I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know. Just this feeling that fight's going to be run back, but under boxing rules. I don't know why I'm thinking that.
Maybe, but remember, he's got that thing with Abima now, Takeru.
Yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think Takeru's boxing is good enough to be a pro.
If he wins that Grand Prix tournament thing in France, and then tension is successful, listen, who's to say that that's the match too? But boxing,
maybe. Me personally, I would have tension. If you want to build up the Naoya Inoue fight, he need one at this point. Naoya would kill him. That would crush him within 2-3 rounds.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then, but Takuma Inoue, I believe, I want to say he's 18-1 with only 4 knockouts. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Tension's team, I don't know if they're both a part of the Tekken, however it's pronounced, team.
Tekken. I didn't see his dad. I didn't see his dad in his corner.
No, unless Tekken, TEIKEN.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not Team Tekken. The kickboxing gym. If that's not the case, I would say have Tension try to move down to bantamweight, 4 pounds, and try to fight Takuma at some point next year once he gets a little bit more experience.
I definitely think Tension could make that weight. If you look at his frame, he's definitely can make 118. Yes. I think this fight that he was at with today earlier today, I should say, was that 120?
122, I thought, because super bantamweight.
Okay.
Yeah, because super bantamweight is 122, bantam is 118.
Yeah, if Tension's that short and Takuma, no, I always get those two. Okay, Naoya is the taller one.
Yes, the older one.
Yeah. Okay.
Much better fighter.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, doing him facing off against both brothers. Listen, money to people, money to promoters, in my opinion.
Yeah, and my last thought on it is that I do think with a couple of fights he could beat Takuma in a way. From what I saw of the Liborio Solis fight, I didn't think he looked that great, if I'm honest. I thought he got hit too much by a 41-year-old.
Well, maybe this is finally the year of the old man fighter.
Maybe, but I mean, like, Liborio Solis was a solid fighter in his day, former 115-pound champion, but I thought Takuma would do. From what I saw of it, I thought the fight was kind of boring, but I thought Takuma would do better. He just got hit with too many right hands that I saw in the first 6 rounds. So, but like I said, to be fair, I didn't see the rest of the fight. I'll have to see it at some point. I didn't think he looked that great. And I thought with some experience, Tension's faster than him, and a southpaw and wrong angle with the left, and he can hit that left. And Takuma was getting hit too easily, I thought.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to see Tension's fight, it's all over YouTube. Very easy to find, and with English commentary as well. So please watch it. But we're going to talk about Rizin 41, the aftermath of their first show of 2023, Osaka, all that good stuff. Before we get into the meat, we're going to talk about some the table scraps, which is the prelim kickboxing fights. I don't know, Mike, this is all you. You're the one who somehow was able to do as much research on these guys and talk about them. I'm just going to let you bloviate about any thoughts about those kickboxing matches.
Sure. The first one I didn't see. I saw, I think, a little bit of the Asataro Shin Sasaki fight. I already forgot it. I didn't even know that stream had. I didn't even know that it was going to be shown on YouTube, like the two prelims and the first 4 fights. So I was kind of bummed at that. I would have gotten up at midnight to see it. The second one, I believe, I forgot his name, Daiichi, whatever. The guy who was 0-1, he looked pretty good. He knocked that guy out. He knocked his opponent out, and he didn't look like an 0-1 fighter. I'll say that. He looked really good. I would bring him back for sure. And then the two main fights, I thought Sota Cerberus Kimura looked really good against Shingeki no Yuki. I know you're bummed about that, Andrew. I thought he looked really good. His jab was working nicely. His combinations were working nicely. And I liked how he went to the body. I believe he knocked out Yuki with a body shot in the 3rd round. That was a really good, solid technical performance. I'd definitely bring him back. And then Motoki versus Shun. It was 2 journeymen fighting, but like I said in the preview, Shun at least beat that Ryo Sasaki Sakai, whatever his name was, who was a 1-loss fighter at the time of Rizin 34 last year. That right hand was a thing of beauty that he knocked out Motoki with. Motoki went down like he was shot. It was just a right hand from a low stance, or bad defense, I should say. So good on Shun. He's back to 500. He'll be brought back. Worst case scenario, it's depth to fill out an undercard in Osaka.
So, it's funny that those 2 fighters, Motoki and Shun, both were on the Rizin 34 court from Osaka last year.
Yes.
And Motoki was defeated by Hiroki. Was it Hiroki Kasahara?
With that flying knee.
Yeah, the flying knee where he almost fell out of the ring. And then you had Shun obviously get his win. I definitely think it would be a cool thing. Hey, you have these 2 guys who won their respective fights, at the same not the same location. Oh, same location, yeah, kind of. And then just put those 2 together. I think it's a little fun thing to do. But I want to ask just also quickly, do you think any of these guys are Rizin worthy of coming back?
Yeah, well, one, because of the finish, Shun. I know he's a journeyman, but at the very least, he's 2-0 in Rizin. And he's a local guy for Osaka. Worst case scenario, put him on the undercard. He might still give you some entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. And as far as Cerberus Kimura, I think you absolutely have to bring him back. I thought he looked really good. He's a good young star in deep kick. And I thought he did, as I said, I thought he looked really good. I can't really say much more. Shingeki no Yuki, if he gets a few wins, yeah, I thought he was outclassed, but I didn't think he looked like a bum by any stretch. Motoki, no. I mean, he that's twice he's been dominated and knocked out. I don't think there's much more we need to see with him.
And Cerberus definitely, I think, will be coming back. I think.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that? Sorry, go ahead.
Say, what is his weight exact? I didn't catch what the weight was for.
I think they're 140 in the 140s. I don't know what that is in kilograms, but there was also catch weights.
I'd like to see him in with Yuya from Rise and Deep. That would you just lost at El Dorado, but he was on a nice little streak there, so that would be a good test for Cerberus Kimura.
No, I agree. But then other than that, throw the table scraps off. We're gonna get to the meat.
Yeah.
Main event, Kouzi loses in his hometown of Osaka. Yeah. I would say surprisingly. Do you agree with that, Mike?
I thought Ashizawa would slug with him more. Ashizawa boxed a lot better than I thought he would off the back foot. Koji couldn't handle the movement at all.
The story of the fight was those knees that he just kept delivering. I can't remember the last time I saw someone kind of spam the knee button in a kickboxing fight, but yeah, and he also split open Kouzi. Listen, you would think that and here's the thing, Ashizawa was never some top guy in K1. He lost a fight to Yaman, got knocked out. Kouzi also lost to Yaman, but didn't get knocked out by him.
To be fair, about Ashizawa, those were open finger gloves too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, the stupid open finger gloves thing. Okay. And so yeah, with this in this fight, I mean, well, first of all, I don't know what judge was like, oh yeah, Kouzi definitely won this fight. So maybe this is the same crackhead judge that thought for some reason Kintaro won his fight. So
it was Adelaide Bird in disguise.
Adelaide Birdo. Yeah, yeah, so after this fight, so after the fight was the finished, Kouzi press conference said he was gonna retire, not an April Fool's joke. Supposedly this I didn't say supposedly, but other people have told me that this is stuff he said in the past when he's lost. I think it was a Takaru fight where he may have said that, but I don't know if he was doing it in jest or if he was serious, then he recanted. So, Mike, do you think this is a legit? He didn't leave his gloves in the ring. He didn't, give like a speech or whatever. It didn't. Do you think this was more of an emotional thing that he did? This is not a real retirement.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think he was just being emotional. One, because he lost to someone who was talking a lot of smack and he doesn't like, and two, it was in Osaka. So I'm sure he was embarrassed, disappointed, and he's like, maybe I don't have it anymore. So we'll just have to wait and see with that. But if you want to take him at his word, it would suck because I think he's still an entertaining fighter and he's a big asset for Rizin when they go to Osaka.
He's maybe one of the few assets they have when they go to Osaka. The thing is that if he is, well, first of all, if this is his last fight, this is certainly not his last appearance. There's no way that he's not going to get like a retirement ceremony or, some last exhibition type fight thing that's going to cap off his career, because a lot of fighters will do that when they retire. And actually, this happened at Pancras. I'm forgetting the fighter's name, but he did an exhibition with one of his teammates, and they didn't go hard, but it was sorry,
Kiyotaka Shimizu.
Yes, I think it was. Yes, I think that was him. And yeah, so that happened. Ishiwatari did like, what was it? He did the Ishiwatari retirement deep whatever thing where he did like 3 grappling matches, I believe it was. So if this is his last fight, okay, but it's certainly not going to be his last appearance. He'll definitely get some sort of retirement ceremony. I believe. I'll say this though. When Crow Cop retired, I was surprised that Rizin never really did a retirement thing for him.
I know
he never got one.
Yeah, it is surprising looking back on it. I don't know why. I really don't.
Didn't he retire during the pandemic or after the pandemic? Yeah, okay, that may have been why. And
didn't he have health issues too?
Well, yeah, he had a stroke. Or he had a stroke or pulmonary embolism or something. Something crazy. The thing is that, but I'm surprised that like Rizin never did like something like after the fact for like New Year's or whatever. And also the other thing is that if they do a retirement thing, it has to be in Osaka. Yeah. So you're not going to do this in fucking Okinawa.
No, but you can do it maybe at Saitama on New Year's Eve or something.
That's true. Oh, okay, that's true. I would think Osaka would be more appropriate, but that's just me.
If they want to draw, with Saitama, since it's a much bigger arena than say the Joe Hall or Maruzen in Tech Arena, I would think you would want to load that. And Koji's retirement ceremony, I'm sure, would move some tickets.
Yeah. Now Ashizawa said something funny when this fight was over. He said he's done with stupid kickboxing. He's going to MMA. So, Mike, what do you think about that? That he's giving up kickboxing after this win and presumably going to MMA?
I think he's got good striking. If he goes to a good gym, I don't know what gym he would go to yet. Maybe you have some info on that.
Nothing.
And we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's to be determined. It's going to depend on what Jimmy's at, the quality of the partners, all that stuff. But with his striking, he learns a little bit of wrestling. I think he can be successful because his striking is going to be better than most MMA fighters.
That's very true. I mean, always the question is though, what's the first fight? Do you get that's the question I always ask myself when somebody does that. It's do you give him some sort of scrub, some like 0-10 scrub?
No,
or is it
not that bad?
The problem is that rarely ever seems to be the Japanese method when it comes to these when it comes to a debut. I mean, look at what happened to Hiromoto when his debut with Hagiwara.
And that's against Minotauro Nogueira back in Pride.
Yeah. Joe in the kickboxing, the inverse kickboxing, Don Fry facing Jerome Banner. So that's always the big question. And now Yaman, who's going to MMA, is having this mixed whatever thing with Kota Miura. So I mean, this is what I know.
It's 2-5. That fight's 2 5s, isn't it? Under MMA rules.
Is it 2-5? I thought it was 1 round kick. I thought it was 1 round kickboxing, 1 round MMA. I thought they were doing that
under like special MMA rules. I could be wrong.
Okay, I thought it was because Tapology says says custom rules. So I thought they were doing the Shinyaoki thing. First round kickboxing, second round MMA. That's what I thought they were going to do. So I mean, I good luck to Ashizawa, I guess. Question: why do you think all these kickboxing guys want to go into MMA so bad?
Probably money would be my guess, and I'm guessing that his experience with K1 probably soured him on kickboxing.
Oh, no doubt. Daniel Dzabecki, our great comrade from Poland, says that it's special MMA rules. I don't know what the fuck that means. Probably like in other codes fights. Oh, okay, that's what he also said. So that means no soccer kicks to the head, whatever. 2-5. So if he's gonna do the deep dive in MMA, good on him. But it's a different. It's swimming with different animals. It's basically you're going from herding cats to herding tigers. Not that kickboxing is not hard, but it's just
different animals.
Different. Yeah, there's a reason why Tenshin gave up MMA. Oh, Daniel says also 3x3. Okay. So, and we don't even know the rules until the day of probably. And so if Kouzi doesn't, if this is not a real retirement, Mike, what would you do with Kouzi?
Just put him in like special attraction fights. I think he's entertaining. I don't think he's quite world class anymore. I just put people that he can beat just to get the maximum value out of him because he's still a draw. And I think at this stage of his career, you have to be smart about and protect him.
Do you so in I don't know how much of K1 Kouzi you've seen.
I've seen plenty. I definitely saw plenty of him in K1.
Okay, gotcha. And you've obviously seen all of his riding stuff. So what do you think? Was this the worst he's looked in a kickboxing fight, do you think?
I think it is probably. I thought he just looked slow. I thought he just looked completely flummoxed by Ashizawa's movement in the knees and near the clinch. I know he's one-dimensional with can't break an egg with his lack of power, but yeah, he looked shot, quite frankly.
Last big question I have: who the fuck was this? Why one judge think that Kouzi won? Where do you think that logic came from?
Home cooking, probably.
Home cooking.
Like I don't know. Maybe he got bribed. I don't know.
Right. I mean,
like that,
I hope not.
Like, what the hell? There were some weird scorecards on this, or weird judges' decisions on this one, I thought.
Oh, a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but
A few.
surprisingly, a lot of times, I'll say this, the one of the things about Rizin is that there's very rarely any of this this whole thing, judges thing. This was maybe one. Oh, well, probably. Well, I would say maybe the Bellator Rizin one was probably maybe the more egregious ones. But this one had some quite, I would definitely say, absurd judging. But overall, listen, listen. You got to hand it to Ashizawa. That obviously the biggest win of his career. He looked amazing. Props to him. He goes to MMA. Ganbate, sirs. But it's gonna be. I hope he's hopefully successful, and hopefully he brings the trash talk as well.
Ganbate
Kudasai. Co-main, Vugar just swiping the floor with Yoshinori Horie and finishing rear naked choke. Yeah. Second round. Man, what do you think of this? Whole thing?
It was a good fight, and Karamov dominated. I did think Horie had a couple of moments, though. I believe he hurt him. He hurt Karamov for a couple seconds in the second round, but the commentators were right about this. Horie should have been more aggressive.
Yes,
he was way too tentative.
I think I'm going to sound like such like an asshole for saying this, but I think he was scared. I think he was kind of.
Yeah, I agree, but he's going to kick him. He was probably. Like, yeah, I should have been more aggressive because he hurt, like I said, he hurt Karamov. I know Karamov hurt him in the first round. Was it a right hand that dropped Horie near the end of the round in the ground and pound?
Wait, that dropped Horie?
Yeah, in the end of the first round, right? Or
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I thought Horie might have been tentative. Because of the takedowns. That's why he was afraid to engage on the feet, even though I thought, okay, Horie is going to have the advantage on the feet.
I thought so too.
But I mean, listen, you got to hand it to Vugar. I mean, other than Kleber and Chihiro, the one fight that he lost against Saito, which again was a close fight, he has looked just like he just dominated everybody he's had, and to go through Horie the way he did, this was the highest level fight I thought on this entire card, at least on paper. And what do you think that says about Horie? That Horie goes through everybody in Rizin, Vugar goes for almost everybody in Rizin, and then Vugar goes through Horie easily. What do you think that says about both those fighters?
I think it says Vugar Karamov's a hell of a fighter. Because Horie is very good. And for him to dominate Horie like this, that's a statement. There's no other way to say it. Karamov's stand-up was on point. His wrestling was awesome. His submissions were very good. I was very surprised he was able to submit Horie like that.
First time he's ever been submitted. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. But yeah, that was an awesome performance, and he should get the next title shot, obviously. And after it's Chihiro and Kleber, because that's already been announced.
Yep, that's been officially announced for their first show in Hokkaido. I forgot the date, but apparently that's being done in place of the Hawaii show.
24th, I believe it was. June 23rd or 24th, I believe it was.
It's being done, I think, in place of their Hawaii show.
Yeah.
That's what Hagiwara said. I have my suspected reasons why they're not going to Hawaii. It has nothing to do with soccer gigs, Jay Wolf. Sorry. Or it doesn't have nothing to do with a cage or ring.
Money.
I'm pretty much money, and
I didn't sell anything.
Yeah. I think their hope was to do a show with Bellator.
Yeah.
For some reason, it didn't. The universes didn't collide. And so Bellator is doing Bellator is doing two shows in Hawaii, right?
Isn't it day Friday and a Saturday?
Yeah. That's why I'm thinking that's why the Rizin show is not. I think that's what the original intention was. Okay. That's my belief. But listen, they got beat by one. One's gonna have their US show first. We'll see. Maybe hopefully Rise will do it, but you're gonna have to think of you got to get creative with that card.
I'd be more, if I'm Rizin, I'm more worried about just building new stars domestically. You can worry about international later. And they're fine for right now. They're doing fine what they need to do. We've had that conversation before, but it's one of those things that they can only do so much because of the loss of Fuji TV. I mean, it is.
So yeah, Chihiro, clever. So do you? I mean, I think that's an odd show, an odd main event to have for Hokkaido. But this will be. I get. I don't. I just think. I mean, I kind of figure you would do a clever title match. Maybe that's near Hamamatsu, Shizuoka area.
Yeah.
That's just me though. So I know we talked about it on the preview show and who should get the next title shots. I think we all kind of agreed Suzuki, right?
I think Christian thought it should be Karam. I thought Christian may have thought it was Karam. Should have been Karamov.
The winner of this, the winner of this show.
Yeah, the winner of the Horia Karamov fight. I just advocated Suzuki because he was on a good roll. He had just beaten Yoshiki Nakahara in that awesome victory and knockout, and it's a Japanese challenger.
Daniel Dizabeki has a great question. Hypothetically, where could they go international first? Korea? Question mark. What do you think? What do you think, Mike?
Would Guam work or too little of a population?
No, I don't think you could do Guam. I think, well, first of all, if you do,
Korea would be my second.
Korea would be the more realistic, I think. I don't think you can do Guam. Yeah, I couldn't see them doing Guam. Korea, because here's the thing, it'll be easy flight for Japanese fighters to go to Korea. You have to find the Korean fighters there, which is very easy. Also, time zone wise, that would work for Japan. And contrary to what most people think, Rizin is very less thinking about us international folk now. So not doing it someplace that would be US friendly time, it don't matter anymore. So I think Korea. I definitely think you could definitely do Korea. I don't know what arena you could do that though. I don't know anything about arenas
I'm not
in
sure
Korea.
about venues either, but I do know that the Hokkaido one, I think that's a 10,000 seater.
Yeah.
So they needed a big main event. They're gonna have to, as we discussed in chat, they're gonna have to fill out the undercard.
Yeah.
Because that's not sell out Hokkaido.
Daniel does say Guam would be nice if they are considering US soil, which listen, no, I mean, but it's here. The thing is that I think they want fly-ins. They want fans to fly in either from United States or Japan. I'm gonna tell you this. I would much rather fly Hawaii to Guam. I couldn't point out Guam on a map. I have no idea where to go. It's I don't even know what time zone it's in. So it's just also the other thing is that Guam is just like in the middle of water.
Right.
There's nothing surrounding it as far as I know.
I'm not sure.
Maybe Samoa's nearby.
Micronesia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I think maybe Micronesia. But listen, I would even say, well, now you bring up Micronesia, I was gonna say, what about Australia?
If they can they have, other than Damian Brown, and Trent Girdham, are there any Australian fighters on their roster that would draw?
But also I know that Damian has his own gym. I'm sure that you could definitely get fighters from his gym. Again, and the flight there is much easier as well. Not as easy as Korea. One of our favorites, Rise Will Die, says they expect a lot of PFC fighters like Toshiki Watanabe to be on the Hokkaido card. Also a lot of Power of Dreams Sapporo people as well. and Power Extra, excuse me, Sapporo as well will definitely be on those cards.
Who are some of the
Uh,
fighters from that area? I'm not overly familiar with them.
Big Ron, sorry.
Who would be some of you mentioned someone in a chat? Someone
Oh
someone
yeah, yeah. So Power Dream, that's Sora Yamato. That's where his dad runs a school. But they have Yamamoto having a fight already. So I can't see him presumably doing the Hokkaido show. Maybe stranger things have happened. So maybe
six, seven
he'll be there.
weeks is enough time, I would think, to prepare.
Unless yeah. So unlikely that he's gonna be there. I'm trying to think of what's that guy's name? Reiki Endo. Same school, Power Dream. Just fought for the title of Pancreas. But lost. I could definitely see him be on the card.
Who's that? How about Ray, the interim champion, who I think just beat him? That something Imura.
Oh yeah. Forget his name, but yeah. I just figured that they're gonna probably the show with more fighters from the Sapporo Hokkaido region. And right now I can't. It's so funny because you know how many sports people come from Hokkaido? A lot. And right now I can't think of any. I can only think of two. So it's just funny that I can't think of anybody at this point. Let me see. Just gonna quickly read the chat. Rise will die. Our favorite guy says, I expect a lot. Oh, wait, I already read that. Sorry. Daniel says they want to do the US, maybe an Indian casino, but Australia is a great idea. You could do an Indian casino. Problem is, I don't think are there any Indian casinos in California or within? I don't know. That's like Midwest, Mohegan Sun, and I don't think they want to travel that far. At least not now. And Daniel says that they should troll one and go to Thailand. I was actually thinking that, like, maybe
I mentioned Thailand. I mentioned Thailand. I was thinking, maybe use Buakaw.
I don't. Well, is the Simon one? Oh no, BKFC is with, I think, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Buakaw, Port Pramuk, or whatever he's going by nowadays. He's still a big draw from what I know. So
maybe. Well, the other problem is, first of all, how would an MMA show sell in Thailand? A Japanese MMA show sell in Thailand?
Kickboxing or a common six kickboxing, six MMA, or do what they did for Super Rizin and have some Muay Thai fighters against like Kota, or have Yoshinari Nadaka work that show since he's.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. That's good. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Was it Lupini and Radamjan Stadium? I have a hard time pronouncing that one, but he's won those multiple titles at those stadiums.
Yeah, well, maybe Daniel's on something that the photo of Bara and John Nuts, maybe that will mean a Fight Circus Rizin collab show.
That'd be cool, and have Bob Sapp work the show too.
I'm fine with that. We're gonna move on to a fight that was utter domination by Makoto Shinryu, choking out Daichi Kitakata by arm triangle. And as you can see, elbow busted open, Daichi pretty bad. I think this fight pretty much went the way we all thought, Mike, right?
Yeah, I mean, Makoto Shinryu looked awesome. His striking, his wrestling, his submission grappling, everything was just on point. I mean, he crushed Kitakata. There's not much you really need to say about it.
I think if you're scoring these, if you scored the first round at all by unified standards or whatever, 10-7, maybe bordering on 10-6 even.
Yeah, he beat the hell out of Kitakata. And I mean, Daiichi's a good fighter, but he's just undersized for this weight class coming up from strawweight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Not much you need to say about this.
And isn't it funny that at one point Makoto, it was a joke I remember, I forgot who we had on. Oh, it was Luke. And we were joking. This was a fight that he was having against Seichiro Ito. And we were kind of just joking, like, hopefully he gets he doesn't finish him. Kind of just like becomes a meme that he doesn't finish anybody in his fights. And it's so funny, post that fight, I think he's finished Oh no, he didn't finish Tokyo. He finished all but one. This guy went from not finishing anybody to finishing people very, very, very successfully. And so it's so funny that we got three flyweight fighters. Two of them are UFC now. Well, one of them is in road to UFC technically.
Who's that?
And Ray Saruya.
Ray Saruya.
Kind of like we have a new the former Pancras. Wait, is he doing is Ray Saruya doing flyweight or is he doing bantamweight?
I'm not sure, but I know he's signed. I think Shin Haraguchi was signed too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's
That's
definitely not one of the best.
Better.
Yeah. I thought Ray Saruya was signed for flyweight. I could be wrong though.
I'm not sure. I forgot off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, anyway, so supposedly there will be a flyweight Grand Prix, flyweight something this year. I don't know. What do you think? So as of right now, if we can think of the people who have been successful rising that are flyweights, people like John Dodson, Kyoji Horiguchi, Makoto.
If he would be, if Bellator would let him be in the Grand Prix.
Was that sorry?
I would question if Bellator would have him be in the Grand Prix.
Bellator don't give a shit. Bellator does not give a shit.
Okay, just saying because I thought they were gonna try to build if he's fighting at flyweight in the next. I think he's fighting at flyweight this month. So if you're not going to build a division, then why have Horiguchi on the damn roster?
I don't know why Bellator does anything at this point. That's a discussion for another day. But let's presume that Kyoji is in it. He would be so those three. I'm trying to think of other names right now. Probably small names. I guess the winner.
Tatsuki Samoto.
Yeah, Samoto. Thank you. And
beats Dotson or not, I think he'll beat Dotson, but that's just me.
Whoever wins the upcoming deep flyweight Grand Prix, I think definitely has to have.
Yuya Fukuda will win that.
Mm-hmm. So, where would you peg right now if Makoto? Would you say Makoto's one of the favorites to win?
Also, that Mongolian that just knocked out Nave in Gladiator in like.
Oh yeah, and perhaps Mamadov, who we'll talk about a little bit later,
and the winner of Ramazanov and Soya. Rising 42.
So yeah, Makoto's definitely got a place in there. Oh, Daniel's back and corrected me. Ray is flyweight. That's what I thought. So you have kind of like a new I don't want to say Mount Rushmore because I hate that term. It's so overused, but what a new pedestal for three flyweight fighters, all from Japan, all almost undefeated. Makoto, Ray Saruya, and Taira.
Taira's a bantamweight though.
Who's that?
Taira's a bantamweight, right?
No, he's flyweight. He's flyweight.
I thought he fights at bantam.
No, I think he's fighting UFC and flyweights.
Oh, okay. I thought it was bantamweight for whatever.
He may have been bantam at one point, but I definitely know that he was I think he's fighting flyweight in UFC. Okay. Let's see. Rizin will die says the promotion known as UFC signed better prospects such as Azad and I'm gonna mispronounce it. Almabev. Makoto doesn't stand chance like the second-rate fighter that he is. And the Mongolian guy is fighting top the promotion known as UFC. That's what I just saw. Becky. Yes.
Okay.
No, was that him? Yes, I think that was him. And Daniel says Yuki Ito will be in it if he wins the deep GP.
Ito got eliminated. He's fighting. He's fighting yes. Ersin Yamamoto at Rizin 42. I want to say it is.
Yes, that's it. That's what I was like. I thought he was in the tournament, but I thought he lost. Yeah. So you have a treasure trove of people to choose for this Grand Prix if it happens.
Flyweight is pretty. I'll say this. I think flyweight's pretty deep.
Yeah.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
It's definitely deep. I mean, what about people like Takagi Soya or Nakamura or people who've lost? With Rizin has definitely has no qualms about putting in people who've lost in.
No,
Grand Prix.
Well, Soya, like I said, Soya's fighting at Rizin 42 against that Ramazanov. So if he wins, he should be in. The winner of that fight should be in. So I'm hoping Soya can bounce back because he's still a good fighter. He just had a really bad night against Nakamura.
Now, the case of Daichi Kitakata, Rizin doesn't really have a strawweight division. They've had strawweight fights before. What do you think? You think Kitakata should just not even create a division, but just have him fight back at there? He also fights for Pancrase as well. I believe he's now 125 in Pancrase after losing the strawweight title. So, what do you think is next for Kitakata?
I don't know. I'm thinking I wouldn't mind seeing Rizin make a strawweight division. I mean, they could. There's good fighters there. I've seen clips in Pancrase, so I would think that might be something that UFC won't focus on. So they wouldn't be able to be poached. So maybe that's an idea. But in the meantime, I would just book him in with an easier opponent who doesn't just completely outclass him like Shinryu did. I didn't think it was great matchmaking here.
Yeah, that's a problem. I think he fights almost any 125er, he's going to get outclassed. I think even someone like Yusaku Nakamura beats him.
That would be a good fight for both of them.
That fight was supposed to happen. That fight was supposed to happen last year. I remember Kitakata, of all people, though, had the bad weight cut. Apparently, I have no idea what he's walking around in. But apparently he got sick while cutting weight, which I'm surprised about. So I think they should have done that match for this one, and then had Makoto fight Mamadov. I don't know why they kind of did the opposite of what I was thinking, which I thought that would have been better matchmaking. But I'm not the matchmaker. That's just my opinion. But I think that's good. You get, since both lost their fights, that's the obvious fight to make is just do those two, whenever, wherever. I think that's fair.
Put it as a Rizin landmark. Put it as the opening fight at a Rizin landmark later this year, just to fill out the undercard.
Well, here's the thing. If you want, if they do, they usually have Nakamura for the Osaka shows. So it would be likely that if they do that, they try to run that fight back again, that they'll do it in Osaka.
When are they going to go to Osaka again next, though?
Good question. They usually do two Osaka shows a year, I think, right?
I thought it was only one, but I could be wrong on that.
I feel like last year didn't
the title change. Was that Fukuoka when he beat Ushiku last year?
That was Fukuoka. Was that Okinawa? I think that was Fukuoka. I believe.
I thought they only went to Osaka once.
You might be right. I don't know why. I don't know why. My brain. Did they do a landmark show? Maybe.
Maybe I can't remember.
Because the fight.
No, Trigger was by that point.
Oh, maybe it was a Trigger. I forgot. Yeah, Trigger's not around anymore. I may be thinking of. They may have done one numbered show, and then one Trigger show or Trigger show in Osaka, during the pandemic. I feel like because I remember Hagiwara main evented a Trigger show, which was an Osaka show. I definitely know that.
Versus Shoji.
Yes, and that was the same show that. Because I know that because the other smoker guy had tattoos all over, so I definitely know that was in Osaka. And then I thought that same year, didn't Fujiwara. They have? Sorry, Fujiwara. Yes. And then that same year, I think they had. Did they have the kickboxing kickboxing tournament with Kouzi being the main event
against Taiji Shiratori?
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, yes, okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, now I got my timeline straight. So I can see them doing Osaka one more time. And then you put Nakamura on the card. In my haste, in my sleepiness, I forgot that this actually happened before, but we'll talk about now the quote dream match of the ever so packed 170 division in Rizin. Nikita Nakamura defeating Osaka's Strash Rikichi. By the way, if you're a fighter from Osaka, this was maybe like that was you were somehow. It was worse to be a fighter from Osaka than it was to be a fighter not from Osaka at this show. I think it was not. Osaka did not do too well when it came to wins for this show. So, but yeah, what do you think of this fight, Mike? Did this dream match pan out like it should have?
Yeah, I thought. I was surprised that Nakamura knocked him out. I'm not surprised Nakamura beat him. I thought he would win by submission. For being off 3.5 years, I thought Keitaro looked really good. I really did. His stand-up was on point, and I just thought Strasser kind of looked old.
Strasser looks really old.
And I thought, and Keitaro, his stand-up was, like I said, it was sharp. That finish, the left hand, and then the soccer kicks and the ground and pound was just brutal.
It's funny because I thought I picked Strasser to win because Keitaro, this was his first fight since 2019, almost 3 years ago, and he lost the fight against Larkin, even though Larkin missed weight. I don't know why that fight was put in as not as a no contest because that's the rules in Japan, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I did not think that I thought that just because I thought that Strasser would just win because usually people who come off from a long layoff. Keitaro also opened his own gym. Didn't seem like he was coming back to fight. At least it didn't. There was no indication, but no, he looked great in this. I mean, obviously, the question is now. Next, what is next? You have a dead division, deader than I don't know, than perhaps Bellator at this point. Sorry,
deader than the dinosaurs.
Deader than Bellator is, I would say. Keep it in the MMA context.
Okay, fair enough. Someone would disagree with you passionately on that one, but hey.
Daniel says that triggers were Kobe, Shizuoka, and West Tokyo, but Kobe's a neighbor to Osaka. Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Do you just bring Keitaro out for specialty fight, one-off fights at this point, or what?
Does he try to build a division? Even if it's weak, I still think you try. What's his name? Shingo Suzuki, the deep champion, regardless of whether he's a 500 fighter, but so what? If you just want to get a body and have him fight Keitaro next, I think that's that's really all you can really do at this point, I think. And then,
how about Abe? Do we try to bring Mr. Daichi Abe back?
Yeah, but he has to win in deep first.
Or
you put Suzuki with Yoshio Souza if Souza's still fighting.
I don't think he is.
Okay.
I don't. There's no indication that he's. I think he retired after losing to Abe.
Got it. Then I'm really out of ideas for that division. I'd have to look and see who's in the Japanese welterweight in the welterweight division in Japan. I mean, you have that 2-1. That guy who was 2-1 in Pancrase who just won. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the young kid. I'm not even a young kid, but I know who you're talking about. I saw his fight. Well, here's the problem though, is that I think Keitaro can still definitely beat him though. That's something you don't want to have. And this is that's the issue, is that I don't know. I think 170 is I'm gonna make a video game reference. It is like if you ever played Dark Souls 2, which I'm playing through now, it is that dark, deep well that is in Majula that takes you to the rat underground thing. And that is what 170 is right now. It is a division that is like that, just dark. And I should say deep. I shouldn't even say it's dark and cavernous, but with nothing. It's just emptiness. Go ahead, sorry.
It's bare. It's a barren wasteland right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I don't even know if is there any indication that he wants to continue fighting. Remember his post-fight speech? He had the mic for like a good minute, said nothing, and then just said, "Thank you very much." Nothing. No, there was nothing, and nothing that indicates that he's seems to want to fight again. Not saying that he doesn't want to, but it just didn't seem like he was had that on his mind. I mean, same thing with Strashikichi. Well, there's really nothing. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. You're the only welterweights I know of. Those people you mentioned, we said Daichi Abe. I think Uchimura still is fighting
Yeah.
at Yojiro Ichimura. Is that his name? Oh no, Sumimura.
Sumimura,
Sumimura is still fighting. He might be maybe the best welterweight in Japan, but that's not saying a lot. Yeah, this is. I mean, what is? I'm trying to know. I know Grant Bogdanov hasn't fought at 170, but he could. He. I think that would be his weight class.
be an
So
option.
yeah, and also Tanner Renko as well would be
Lorenzo.
also be an option. I think. He could probably make 155, but somewhat
Brown.
of an option. Sorry.
Damian Brown.
Oh yeah, Damian Brown. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Brown versus Nakamura. Book it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, or put him versus Strategici. I don't care. I think
Yeah.
either one works.
I mean, you'll have to be creative, but Shingo's a good enough Kashiwagi's a good enough matchmaker. I'm sure he can come up with something. They're very good at scouting and finding talent. So I wouldn't if you want to build a welterweight division, I wouldn't be as worried about it. But with it being so barren, it'll be a challenge, but it's not impossible.
Even when Rizin was started off and pre-pandemic, welterweight was still not a plentiful division. Even when they had more 205ers, maybe even more middleweight people. Welterweight was not given any sort of credence in a time when Rizin was a fighting federation promotion. So it is, yeah, it's kind of division basically at this point. And I'll be happy if they booked it this way. They just put names in a hat and just pick them out at this point. I'm totally fine with that. Without doubt, Osaka's biggest win of the night was Kyoei Hagiwara. Basically, win. I think was this unanimous or was this split as well?
I think it was unanimous.
I think it was too. Let me double check. Yes, it was. Good. Okay, because this is definitely not a split decision. I gotta ask, Mike, what did Hagiwara's performance in this fight at all surprise you?
Yes.
How so?
I thought he was going to get, pardon the expression, I thought he was going to get dry humped for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was on the way happening. That really was.
It was, and I was getting pissed. I'm not going to even lie, because I'm sure Agwan's a really good dude, but he's boring as hell to watch. Like just put you to sleep level boring. And I was happy that Hagiwara was able to hurt him, was able to show enough defensive grappling that he was able to land enough big shots to win the fight. But yeah, but if he wasn't able to do that, if he hadn't improved the way he did, Agwan would have smothered him for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hagiwara damn near finished him a few times too.
Oh, that body shot! Remember the body shot where Agwan went down? Yeah, and he delivered some soccer kicks. Yeah. If the referee had actually stopped it, then I would not. I don't think you could say that was a bad stoppage. If he had, I've seen worse stoppages when it comes to body shots. So it definitely would have been a fair stoppage.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Hagiwara, to be blunt, saved his career.
Well, I don't know if he saved his career, but he saved the record, and he definitely. Yeah, would you say this is the biggest win of his career as an MMA fighter?
As far as fighting an accomplished MMA fighter, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Agwan was coming off a few losses like Hagiwara was, but he was still a good wrestler, and Hagiwara showed real improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Not so much the takedown defense, which is still lacking, but his defensive grappling is much better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially when his back got taken. Yes. We've seen it. He's gotten submitted twice. One by an incredibly accomplished grappler and clever, and one who, I guess, Chihiro. So
yeah, but Chihiro, who clearly takes MMA seriously.
Yeah, but I mean, so I guess the big question is, what do you do with Hagiwara next? What do you do with Mr. Smoker next?
I would give him another confidence-building win. That's just me. I'd put him in with Yuta Kubo.
Interesting. Interesting. How is it? I'm the only. I mean, I'm trying to like just go off the top of my head. Probably there is a formula to beat him. There is a formula to beat Hagiwara, even though Agiwan and he was on his way to doing it, but I don't know. I think Agiwan was getting tired.
He was.
So that definitely didn't help him. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm racking my brain right now with the people at 145 right now. Yeah, so I think a Kubo fight is interesting. Um,
It's marketable.
it is marketable, yeah. Trying to think who else would be a fair, be a fair what if
Yoshi Nakahara.
that's also possible, yeah. I wonder though, so but do you I mean what they did show Ren the audience. So I did during this in which he let Hagiwara know he's number one. Um I think they want to do an eventual rematch between those two.
They do, but it's too early.
But then you also have Ren and Mikuru. That's the fight that they definitely want to do this year, I think. And then you could do the Ren Hagiwara rematch sometime in Osaka next year.
Put it at the Joe Hall, that'll sell.
I mean, but it all depends on how those two go about their wins, if they win.
Hagiwara, I'd match him carefully for that reason. Or you at least get. I'm trying to think of another grappler. Maybe put him. One of Bogdanov's teammates, or I'm not sure if it's Grant's teammate, but they fought on a Trigger show to Kotetsuhara. Is he a bantamweight?
No. Well, Kotetsuhara, he's a flyweight and he's at Cave.
Never mind then. Who was that? No, I'm trying to think of.
Oh, Hikaru Yoshino?
Yes. Or is that too big a step up?
Yeah, well, I think he's bantamweight, maybe flyweight. Yeah, so no, that's not happening.
What about Kimihiro Ito?
Is he lightweight?
I think he is. I'm just trying to think of people or that.
Okay. What about, he just won at Pancras. I think it'd be a pretty fun fight. Him versus Hagiwara, versus Nakata. Hirotaka Nakata.
Yes. That'd be a cool one. That'd be that'd test Hagiwara's power.
And
Poirier hit every Nakata with everything but the kitchen sink and knocked him out. Or
and Nakata got his first win by submission as well, but I would not say Nakata's a submission expert as somebody like as like a clever. So I think that's a fair fight to make. It'd be cool seeing two young guns going after each other.
How about a rematch with Takahiro Ishida?
I think that's possible, but the problem is that I think Takahiro Ishida could win that again. I really do. And that's the problem. Is that you don't know which Hagiwara you're going to get. Are you going to get the Hagiwara that's going to be that's going to do what he did in this fight? But then if somebody has any sort of like, I would say, grappling expertise above a blue belt, I don't know what Agiwan's level is. I'm assuming though it's a blue belt, maybe, or purple. I don't know, whatever it is. But you could get him down position, but you can't finish him. Yet, then someone like Suzuki, who I can't believe is any sort of grappling wizard himself, can do it so easily himself. Like that's a problem that you don't know what's gonna be. I really, I think Ishida would win that. I think he would win that a second time. I really do. Especially the way that did he submit I'm trying to remember how he. Oh yeah, it was like a hammerlock, right? It was like a hammerlock from the triangle. I think it was.
It was a hammerlock omoplata, I thought.
Yeah. So a very rare submission. If Hagiwara was getting caught on that by somebody, I would not do a rematch of those two. Now, Agawon, what do you do with Mr. Miyamoto? Do you think this is the last we've seen of him? Do you think we'll see him again? Do you want to see him again? I don't think you do, but
I don't want to see him. I mean, if they want to bring him in for a prospect to test him, fine. But other than that, there's no reason to bring him back.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you some bad news. He is the husband of Miyamoto. As long as Miyu is there, even when Miyu is not there, I think he has a door open in Rizin because the Yamamotos are wrestling royalty, MMA royalty there. So as long as, and he's living in Japan, I think, or maybe he's in Guam. I don't know, but he'll always have a fight ready for him if necessary.
He's basically a gatekeeper at this point.
Oh, he's absolutely a gatekeeper. Not a dangerous gatekeeper, but one who can still win. Yeah, that's a good. I like that. He can definitely be a spoiler.
Yes.
If
Bad
you were to
style for anyone, I think,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Who would you, if you were to put him up against somebody, who would you put him up against next?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of a featherweight I'd put him in with Yoshinori Horie. Actually, give Horie a win because I still believe that Horie has value for Rizin. He's still a very good fighter. Just get him back on a winning track.
That is the correct answer because that is the exact one I was thinking of, and I would be fine with that. And that's something you can. That's one of those buffer because that'll be a nice buffer fight for Horie to get an easy win. Well, I should say an easy win, but a good win.
A workman.
I'm sorry.
As they say in boxing, a workman-like win.
Oh, okay, yeah, I like that. A workman-like win. And it's so funny now Hagiwara is back to having an even record, 7-7. Agawon is 14-12, so he's getting dangerously close to that under 500 record.
Takase had a bad record when he beat Anderson Silva.
Oh, that's true.
Or 7-1. So anyone can beat anyone at any given time. If you don't take anyone seriously in this game, you can lose.
Oh, absolutely. Thought I had a graphic. Maybe I didn't have a graphic for the Kintaro fight. I thought I did. But anyway, we'll talk about that next. Kintaro, Osaka, another Osaka guy who lost Koichi Ishizuka, being by split decision. Pretty boring fight. I really have nothing much to say on it. I don't think either fighter looked impressive. And Daniel Dzubecki and the Japanese MMA beat chat said something very interesting. He said that Kintaro is both an exciting and boring fighter.
100%.
I don't see what's exciting about him. I am not
in exciting fights before. The thing about is in this fight, I thought he gave it away. I thought he was way too cautious, way too tentative.
And that's so funny is that I thought that Ishizuka was just going to do what he did in I think it was the third round, was actually grapple him, and he didn't do that until very late. And I'm not so sure why he decided to do that. Maybe he thought he was losing. Maybe that was their game plan. But if Ishizuka had done that round one, he could have finished him, I think. I think he could have. Yeah, and Kintaro, here's the thing. Kintaro's a one-note fighter, but the problem is that he's not good as one-note anymore, or other people are catching up to what he's good at. And yeah, that's striking. It's basically just throwing hands and
throwing one punch at a time at that.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think Koichi Ishizuka should relinquish that deep title because he did not look like he was not worthy of being a deep champion in my eyes. What judge thought that Kintaro won? May have been the same judge that gave it to Kouzi. I have no idea, but do you think at all, Kintaro, do you agree at all with that judge's decision?
Yeah, Ishizuka won the fight.
No, that Kintaro won.
Hell no.
Because they went to split decision, don't forget.
Yeah, he didn't do nearly enough. If he would have been more aggressive and pushed the fight, then yeah, I think he could have won it, but he didn't. And it's another bad performance by him.
Mm-hmm.
The time he looked decent was against Horiguchi. And he had flashes there, but for the most part, he got dominated. And then the other thing was he looked pretty bad again, even in the last fight in Rizin he won, which I think was Kuya Ito in the Japan Bantamweight tournament a couple of years ago. I don't think he looked that great, as I recall. So, yeah, this has been a pattern with him for a couple of years.
Yeah. He will stick around though because he's an Osaka guy. He'll sell tickets to Osaka's show. The other thing that was interesting is that, I mean, it's just like I just don't know like what is next for either of these two guys. I mean, well, first of all, would you bring Ishizuka back?
Yes, I would, because he has value as the deep champion, and I think he can do that.
I would be like that. I would say no, because that was like I think that was a lackadaisical performance on his parts. Really,
I'd put him in with a young prospect then, if they sign anyone new anytime soon. I'm sure they will. Just to kind of test them out, because I do think he's vulnerable.
What about Kintaro? He'll be back. They'll put him on an Osaka show. Who do you think would be an ideal opponent? Because also here's the other thing as well. I apologize for interrupting, Mike, but we talked about this and we were like, this is a very odd fight to put against Kintaro on an Osaka show that he can lose, and he lost. And you kind of figure, oh, you want to get the hometown guy to come in get a win. That's ideally that's what they do. The UFC does it also too. It does it as well. All promotions do it. Wrestling, boxing, they all do it because that's what people when you play when you play hometown, they want to see the visitors lose. So that's how it is. And I'm just surprised that they put up this guy like on paper in every way. Ishizuka beats him. Yeah. And I didn't think he was going to be the way that he did until the third round, but I just thought this was a really baffling fight to make from the very beginning. I don't know why they were like, did they think that Kintaro had a chance against this guy?
Yeah, they did. I mean, I don't know why you would book it otherwise, because he needs to win. He's now lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
One fight away from being 500.
Yeah. And if you look at the people he's lost against, I mean, look at Inoue, Batoya, Horiguchi, are people that the three of them are more grapplers. So what do you do with who do you put up against? You put up against another guy who grapples and who decisions his way to wins. I just thought it was a very baffling booking. I really was like really confused.
It was really weird.
Enough about that rant. Enough about that. So I mean, is there anybody that you could think of that would be a good opponent for him? Kintaro, I mean.
For Kintaro, Ishizuka.
You do the match again?
No. Who were you asking me about? Kintaro?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kintaro. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kintaro.
I just give him a jobber from Pancrase or Deep.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, because you got to give him a win. He's lost 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get him a win somehow.
But then this is a case of like where if you put up against a jobber from Deep or Pancrase, like it's got to be someone who's grappling either sucks or who's
pure striker.
Oh, sorry.
Or even if it's like a local Osaka kickboxer, I don't know, from Deep Kick or something. Yeah. Who's dabbling. I don't know, but he's another one like Hagiwara. You have to match him carefully. Yeah. He retired, but Seigo Yamamoto would have been a great one, especially because he was also on a losing streak as well. And that guy was definitely no grappling person as well. I know that I'm looking at a lot of the names of I can't speak, Deep fighters, and it's just it's very hard to pick because I'm looking at these Deep bantamweights. Most of them, like Koro, former Deep bantamweight champion who Ishizuka beat, I would not put Kintaro against him because I think Kintaro would lose. He'd get choked out or at least decision. One that I remember the name of, Taisei Nishitani.
I say Nishikani. Isn't he one of wasn't he part isn't he part of of the what do we call it? The Mikuru thing?
He might. I'm not sure, but I thought he was
Yes,
fighting.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Remember Mikuru has his whole remember the three fighters, it was Hiroya, Nichitani, I'm
Okay.
forgetting the other guy, that he took under his wing. I have here that Nishitani is a featherweight.
Really?
Maybe he's fought bantamweight. Maybe he's fought bantamweight. I could be wrong, but it says here that he is featherweight.
Okay. I thought he was the first one that came to mind. I'm trying to think of bantamweight. It's in deep, and it's kind of hard to.
And by the way, all of his wins but want to come by submission. So again, you don't want that. I think you kind of will fuck up the chance again.
Yeah, I'd have to look at a list because I wouldn't be able to tell them off the top of my head, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that we're seeing Kintaro's career winding down?
I think so. I mean, he's clearly has a level. Unless you want to use him as a special attraction and match him carefully in Osaka, he's definitely reached what he can. He's definitely reached what he can his peak.
I think I have to 100% agree with that. He has not looked good in any of the other than his first fight he had in Rizin. He has not looked good in. He has not. Yeah, and the Kui Ito fight, but that's relative. He has not delivered as the Kintaro of the past that I was familiar with.
How about Kasagai?
Sorry?
How about Kintaro versus Kanten Kasagai?
Oh, Kasagai. No, he retired.
Oh, he did. Okay, he retired
After the Imanari fight. I would love that. I would love.
No.
I would love.
No,
you're about to realize
No way, Imanari.
It would be. Listen, I am a fan of Imanari in any fight. He could still potentially knock out Imanari.
Yeah, he could also get leg locked in 30 seconds.
That's true. That is true. Speaking of knockout, that did not happen this fight, but we had the red. What the heck was his nickname again? The Red Seahorse, Red Horse. Excuse me, Red Horse. Kyung Kim submit Patrick Usami, interrupting Patrick Usami's Rizin streak. The two former Road to UFC guys meeting in a Rizin ring. Ironically, what do you think of this fight, Mike?
It was disappointing. I picked Usami to win. I was hoping he'd win, and I thought his defensive grappling off his back looked fine. Like it looked better, but when his back was taken, he looked clueless. Clueless.
I think we all predicted Usami to win by knockouts.
Yeah.
I think all of us did.
Yeah, I did.
And but no, Kim played a spoiler for a big one. I mean, so what do you think this does to Usami's momentum?
Well, it shows me that he's got to work on his ground game because he looked, like I said, when he was on his back, he didn't look that terrible, but when he got his back taken, he looked like a fish out of water. Mm-hmm. So he's got to work on his grappling. Simple as that. And if he can, and his takedown defense, because he got taken down way too easy. But I think he can. I think if he works on that, he's got immense potential because of his boxing and his athletic ability. But it isn't going to matter if he doesn't have better defensive grappling. But he's so young. I'm not ready to even be close to writing him off.
Kim. I think he made a great impression.
He looked really good. He surprised me. His grappling looked on point.
Definitely a fighter that I think could have made it to the UFC. I don't know if you know his whole thing, but he won his first fight in the road to UFC, and then he lost a split decision to the I think it was the Indian guy, I believe. I didn't see the fight, so I don't know if it was a split decision. What type of split decision? And so yeah, we definitely have somebody who up there is Sol Chu Kim. And I'm trying to think of the other guy. There's one. Sorry,
Thinking
Kiwoon
of
Bin.
lightweights or just Korea?
No, just anybody, just anybody. The guy who was also on the road to UFC. Oh God, the one who beat Jinosuke Kashimura, the lightweight guy. Oh,
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
I'm going to get up right now. Was it John Young Lee? I think. Let me see. So whoever beat okay. I know I could do this. I could just look up the guy he beats. And then Won Bin Ki. Won Bin Ki. Um
Gladiator was he a gladiator champion?
he may no, well, he may have been. But yeah, we kind of got three good Korean fighters at this point. Different weight classes. I believe that's yeah, I think Bin Ki is 130 155. Obviously Social Kim is 135. This Kim is 145. Oh no, I forgot also the guy who um who beat Shoji, who was supposed to face Kai. Kiwoon Bin? Is that what his name was?
So I know Ji Yong Yang.
Jiong Yang, okay, as well. So he's also there as well. So we definitely have we're seeing a lot of good talent coming from Korea when it was basically I've argued that Korea has been dead for a long time, but we might be finally it might be funny to say is Rizin and Road to UFC might be helping to rejuvenate and bring some eyes back to Korea. Ironically, Road FC, excuse me, Road FC is just kind of stagnant. Actually, we also got Black Combat as well.
Wasn't there another thing that had a collaboration with Heat recently?
Was that Black? No, Black Combat had the. Yeah, you're right. Was it Road to US? I keep on saying Road to UFC. Road FC. Was that the one that had the Heats?
No, I think it was something else. I thought it
You
was.
might be right. Anyway, so we're seeing a lot of great Korean prospects come in to Rizin and being successful. And with that being said, what do you think should be next for him, Mike?
This guy hasn't been in Rizin in over a year, but I would bring back Kimihiro Ito.
He actually has a fight coming up in Deep.
Okay.
So depending on how that fight goes, yeah.
I think that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, this was 145, I believe, right?
I thought he fought Sambo.
Oh, okay.
The guy beat in at the second trigger. I think it was the second trigger show. He won at lightweight, I believe it was.
Yeah. So okay, so this fight was lightweight between these two. Yeah, it's I definitely feel like if Kim does come back, presuming he does not get signed to UFC at this point, then it'll definitely be he should definitely get a good step up in fight competition. What was the name? I forgot. I just totally forgot the name you said.
Kimihiro Ito.
Yeah, Ito. That'd be an interesting a step up, especially if he wins his fight in Deep coming up. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always like to say that now the gatekeeper of lightweight is Yusuke Yachi. He is the gatekeeper for lightweight. And if he does, I would not be opposed to that because I understand the value. I don't think he's a good fighter anymore, Yachi, but I understand the value that he still brings as a name.
Yeah.
That you could definitely put him up against him and listen, yeah, you could definitely if he beats Yachi, that definitely helps his name a lot.
Mm-hmm. It does.
What about poor Mr. Usami? What's next for Mr. Usami?
Go back to the gym and work on your ground game, number one. And then two, as far as matchmaking, I'd probably put him in with a striker just to get his confidence back. Mm-hmm. That would be, I'd have to look at like Pancrase or Deep's lightweight divisions just to kind of. That's really all I can say about it at the moment. But I would put someone who has more of a striking background.
I think you can easily do that with a fighter who I'm thinking of.
Who's
I
that?
think well, two come to mind.
Okay.
Uh Daryl Koku, who just won a fight in deep not deep, sorry, excuse me, Gladiator. No, excuse me, not Scratch On last
Gotcha.
year. So you have that. And he is a striker, mainly, even though he has a judo background. Or he lost his last fight against Luis Gustavo. Why not Jiri Ohara?
That might be too big of a step up for Usami.
It might be, but I don't think you have to really worry about
Grappling.
the submission. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Uh,
That's an idea. I personally wouldn't, but I could see it. Or how about did the guy that O'Hara soccer kicked to hell in that deep title defense last year retire? The guy who was like
I don't,
7-12.
I don't know. Good question. That I don't know.
That
100%.
would be my choice.
Yeah, here's the other one. If you want a fucking crazy ass fight, the other one I'm thinking of, or two more come to mind. That would be Kohei Tokeshi.
Yes.
That would
Yes.
be a crazy fight because someone will get knocked out. That definitely can happen. Or against well, we haven't seen him in a while, but I thought he had an amazing fight with with Kohei Tokeshi as Harry Stallone. So
I was
you know,
thinking
just
alone too. I'd be fine with either of those two. And Tokeshi or how about the guy that beat Tokeshi at in Okinawa last year? Who was that? The
oh
guy
god,
the guy who trains at Brave.
what was his name? Oh, okay, I have it right here. Atsushi Kishimoto. Ah, but the problem
Yes.
is what you have with Brave guys is that they can grapple.
Right.
Um,
Right. But at the same time, you want to see if Usami's progressed. So I know it's a you get damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation.
mhm. I see. Okay, that's fair. 9-6-2. He is. No, I don't think that's not too bad. Well, here's the thing. I say Kohei Tokeshi or Jiri Ohara because you know those two guys are going to strike. They're not going to do any grappling. They're not going to do anything like that. Daru Koku, maybe he'll grapple, bring that judo in, but highly unlikely. And then I don't know. I just would be worried that a guy from Brave will be like, okay, now it's time to grapple
Yeah.
this time. So, and I listen, out of all those fights, I think the Tokeshi one would be the most fun and maybe the most easily winnable for Usami.
Agreed, because
Uh,
it's so slow and one dimensional.
but you gotta still be careful of one-dimensional people. Listen, if Amanda LeBrock beat the MMA fighter yesterday at PFL, so and she's not a full-time MMA fighter. I think she was a boxer, a kickboxer, whatever it was. So, it, listen, you gotta be careful. It's still don't underestimate Mr. Tokeshi at
Oh no,
all.
absolutely. He won his kickboxing fight at knockout too
Yeah,
recently.
that went. I think it went OT, right? Didn't he go? He won in overtime, I believe, right?
He won in a knockout, which was
Yeah,
awesome. I love
yeah.
Tokeshi.
And he'll still keep coming. Even if he's tired, he still has the power and and the wherewithal to come forward.
He's got to represent Lethway.
And finishing off, Madman Mamadov uppercutted Yusaku Nakamura to the heavens.
Was it a
Um,
was it a uppercut or a left hook?
I thought it was an uppercut. I thought it was a sneaky uppercut that he got in.
Yeah, but either way, he starched Nakamura. That was nasty.
Were you surprised that
Yeah,
this happened?
I was. But then again, the way Nakamura holds his hands, it's so low, chin up, with the
I
Kempo
think he was
style.
expecting. I saw that. I think he was expecting him to grapple. I think he thought that Mamadov was just going to come in and grapple.
But even then, you shouldn't have your chin up, hands completely down, throwing wide hooks.
Oh, of course. Um, I mean, it's so funny that Takagi Soya can't knock out Nakamura, yet Mamadov, who I think at this point was he 5-5 or 5-6,
5-6. It's five,
yeah,
6, and I think, or maybe 5-6. I'm not sure.
yet easily knocks out Nakamura. Um, I think we already talked about, Mamadov, if they do a flyweight Grand Prix, Mamadov's likely going to be in it. I mean, Nakamura, we did kind of say, he should face, who did we say he should face off?
Daichi Kitakata.
Oh, yes, that was it. Listen, I don't even think that fight should be like for even an alternate position in the Grand Prix.
Just an attraction in Osaka.
Yeah, just an attraction in Osaka, something like that. I think Kitakata is also from Osaka, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Kitakata is from Osaka. He's from P-Lab in Osaka. So you have the two Osaka fighters go against each other. Yeah, just do that. And that's why I just found it confusing that, like, why not just do that fight again, or rebook it again for this time? It's just, I don't know. I just don't understand why it didn't happen for whatever reason. But with that is the entire card, Rizin 41. And the big question I have for you, Mike, do you think this is the best Osaka show so far in Rizin's history?
I do think it was. It was an entertaining card. It was a really good card, I think.
Yes.
And
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say some of the best cards are the ones where we have very little expectation of them.
So if you look at the Wikipedia for all the Rizin shows that were in Osaka in the past, they are not the best on paper. I'm just going to quickly go back to their first show in Osaka. If you give me a second, I'll find it for you. And this was 19, where the main event was Jiri Prochazka beating Fabio Maldonado, which
during that tsunami, right?
Was that the tsunami?
Or was
No. That was the one before that. I think that was the one that Jake that was Jake Kuhn and Jiri, I believe. I think that was the one. Remember they had Horiguchi and Tension in the
kick. It was this type of storm because that one was on Fuji TV, as I recall.
Well, because remember they reworked a call. Remember one of the shows they reworked.
You're thinking of Tension against Kyoji, Saitama.
Yes. Yeah, they reworked that because they had that fight go earlier because there was a tsunami going through, or at least they warned him of a tsunami. And then they had Jake Kuhn and not Jake Kuhn and Jiri. Was it Jake Kuhn and Jiri? It might have been Jake Kuhn and Jiri main eventing.
It was.
Yeah. So they switched it up. They had that because that was supposed to be the main event, Kyoji and Tension, but because that's whatever thing was going on. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The Rizin 19 show also had the lightweight Grand Prix quarterfinals, which, all were great on paper. But you also had some kickboxing matches as well. And as well, also, maybe one of the most mismatched fights of all time, which was Reina versus Alexandra Alvarez, if you remember that one.
Reina versus an 0-3 Spaniard.
Yes.
Wait, what the hell was that?
What, sorry?
What the hell was that?
What?
That fight.
That fight. I think wasn't Reina supposed to fight somebody else, and then they got her. They got Alvarez replacement. And then the next time they came to Osaka was the
versus Taiga on it.
Oh, sorry, which one? Taiga versus who?
Taiju Shiratori.
Oh yes, that was. I think that was their first fight. That was one where Taiju got knocked down twice in the third rounds.
Yes,
and it looked like Taiga was going to win.
Third round, I think, because Taiju won the decision. He had won the first 2 rounds prior, as I recall.
Yeah. After that, Rizin 25, November of 2020. So this is during the pandemic. Main event was Yutaka Saito beating Mikuru for the Rizin Featherweight Championship, the inaugural Featherweight Championship. And that also had one of the worst fights in Rizin history, which was Sumimura versus Gota Yamashita. Speaking of another welterweight fighter, let's go. Yeah. You had a lot of decisions on that fight. And that was also where they had that weird grappling demonstration thing that Souza and Kleber did.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. And also they had Hidenori Ibata against the really tall karateka
show?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hidenori Ibata. Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know it was that one. And then they came back, Rizin 29. That was one where they had the cursed grand kickboxing tournament. And like that one was just like a decision fest. The only thing entertaining about that show was the Yamaniha Kuramoto fight and the obviously the Takizawa Imanari insanity that they
Oh,
had.
that was June of 2021, right?
Yes, yeah. And then after that was Rizin 34 Osaka. So I think and here's the thing about that first card with Jiri and Fabio. That show had a lot of mismatches on it, like absurd mismatches. So that to me was from a pure talent standpoint, I think this one actually had better talent. I mean, like Poirier, Karamov, oh my god, I'm
Koji,
already forget. Koji,
Awa,
yeah.
um,
Um,
Keitaro.
Keitaro, Stratford Kichi, and sorry, I lost my sheet. Hold on.
Makoto Shinryu.
Makoto Shinryu. I mean, no, that was a mismatch. That fight was an incredible mismatch between those two. Okay. Hagiwara, Aguan, which surprised everybody, and Kim and Usami. So I definitely feel like this one was yeah. And also this one flowed better. I think it had overall better finishes that were not obvious, and not everything was as predictable
Absolutely.
as that first Osaka show. So I think so far this is the best Osaka show. You can see two of the fights on Rise's YouTube channel. Ironically enough, Koji's fight and Kyohei's fight. Curious to know, Mike. Did you have a fight of the night and or finishes of the night?
Finish of the night was Shun knocking out Motoki. That right hand was brutal. Like he put him to it literally looked like he put him to sleep. Like that. So that was brutal. And then as far as my fight of the night, I think it was Koji against Ashizawa. That was a really good fight. All action.
All action. Sound like J Wolf now. All action.
Yeah, just phenomenal. Both guys did well, but as you said, Ashizawa showed a new level.
I definitely feel like a finish of the night has to go to Vugard doing what he did to Poirier, especially because that wasn't a full. Did that count as a standing rear naked choke?
No, because he had his back. He had his back, but he didn't have the hooks in the whole way.
That was incredibly impressive, especially because Poirier was still standing.
Yeah.
So I gotta give it to Vugard because I didn't think he was going to dominate Poirier that bad. No, I think Fighting Nights, I think in a weird roundabout way has to be Hagiwara and Aguan, because I think a lot of us did not want Aguan to win.
Yeah.
And when we saw the way the fight was going, like, oh god, and then Hagiwara kind of like babyface comes back in round 2. And then body punch, and it looked like he was going to finish Aguan. And then I think definitely when the fight ended, there was still some kind of maybe they're going to give it to Aguan. There's always that suspicion, but in the end, it happened. So it's not the best technical fight, but I think, and also the crowd was into it as well. So I definitely feel like from that energy, it was the best fight.
Besides Koji and Ashizawa.
Yeah, and KO. I'm not gonna give it to Cerberus because I'm gonna be very petty about that. I would definitely give it to Kita Nakamura because this guy is not usually a knockout guy of that caliber. So definitely have to give it to him because I thought that fight was gonna go probably all 3 rounds. That's what I initially predicted.
Yeah, I get it.
With that being said, Mike, before we head off, you got anything you need to plug or want to plug?
Nope. I don't do social media.
Smart. You're a very smart person. Well, for all those that want to know, you can follow us at We Are Rising Pod. You can follow J. Christian Gary at Chris Gary 92. He has Focus Fights at Focus Fights. Newly revamped and looking good Focus Fights. I also write for MMA Sucker. Please check out my stuff when I do stuff for them occasionally. if you're on the YouTube, you obviously are watching, the YouTube thing. Feel free to come on the Rizin Discord as well, where we just trash Bellator and praise PFL somehow. Just kidding, we don't praise. And we also talk pro wrestling there as well. So if you want to talk during WrestleMania weekend, and with New Japan having a good show, apparently, and I did not watch, that happened today. There was talk of that. Yeah, we'll definitely keep you updated on the Twitter at We Are Rising Pod about what comes up next. And with that, whoever's still here, thank you for joining and appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
You're all schooling, guys. Or